Hello and good morning. Welcome back to the Forest Lake Morning Show. I'm Tyler.
I'm Brendan.
And we're here with another episode today talking about interesting things, facts, information regarding or related to the music industry as a whole.
Yeah, it should be kind of an interesting one today.
Yes.
You know, I think we thought this was interesting enough, and like researching this, we were like, no way is that true. No
Right.
way is that true.
There's no
And
way.
so-
And it started the other day when I thought I read that Happy Birthday was a copyrighted song.
You thought?
Yeah, remember I came to you, I said, Brendan, Happy Birthday is copyrighted. Did
So
you know
it's
that?
not.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I didn't tell you. So I did more. I actually did more research. Happy Birthday is not copyrighted as of right now, but here's the history of it. Okay, so let's hit you with the fact number one. Happy Birthday was copyrighted, and I thought, from what I was reading, that somebody was getting about $2 million in royalties a year, and it would cost $10,000 to put that in your film or your TV show. And I think at one point it did, but a little bit more research revealed, Brendan, that as of right now, it currently sits as public domain. So here's what happened. The song actually stems from a song called Good Morning to All by Patty and Mildred Hill. In, I think, 1893, they wrote this song. So it's the same melody. Okay, the lyrics were different. It was, good morning to you, good morning to you.
It was good morning.
Good morning, dear children. Good morning to all, or something like that. So they were school teachers. And then within a few years, the song actually changed lyrically. And this kind of goes back to what we were talking about, how melody is more important.
Who changed the lyrics?
I think just through the eras and the decades, the children just it just evolved. I couldn't find much information on why it changed. But that is the original song.
Okay.
Now they ended up running into copyright issues because copyrights go back far. You know, they were around in the 1900s and things like that. So by 1935, the composition was given full copyright to a guy named Clayton F. Summy. Okay. Now, fast forward to 1957, he created a business out of that. I don't know what his affiliation in the music industry was. And then changed his name. So that copyright fell under a different name. It was like Summy and something else. He teamed up.
Same dude though, right?
Same dude. And I don't know how he got the ownership of it. Now we're gonna fast forward again. All right, just work with me here. There's a couple of missing pieces here, but
Okay.
This is where it starts to get interesting. So he had it in 1935, had the full composition copyright for actually just a specific piano part of it, that melody, you know, that classic Happy Birthday melody. 1957, he changes his name, and then circa 1988, Warner and Chappell buy that company. So they're not specifically buying the copyright, they're buying the company who has the copyright.
Okay.
Now, from this moment on, they realize, oh shit, we have the copyright to Happy Birthday. So we're going to just start charging people, right? They're going to start getting money in royalties from people putting it in music, TV, doing live performances of it. And for years, they did that until, guess what? We had a lone wolf soldier, a filmmaker. I forget her name, but she was documenting the history of Happy Birthday. And in 2013, she had to pay $1,500 to use it. And she's like, fuck no, I'm not doing that. So she sued Warner Chappell. She said, I don't believe that this is copyrighted. She obviously knows her shit. She's doing a history on just the song Happy Birthday. I don't know who does that, but...
Wait, and so how long were they charging people for?
They would have been charging people from... I've seen a couple things that said it goes back to 1940s when it was under the other company, but Warner Chappell definitely started probably charging people since 1988.
Oh.
Or at least when they realized they had the copyright when they bought that company.
Oh.
They might not have known they had it right when they bought it. And they bought that company for, I think it was a reported $25 million in 1988, which is a lot of money.
Yeah.
In 1988.
Oh, for sure.
Now...
And you think like how many times Happy Birthday is said over all forms of media? It's crazy.
Yeah. And that's where it came into play with it. They were like making an estimated $2 million a year. And we were doing the math. We're like, okay, $2 million a year, 1988. They paid $25 million here. Let's adjust for inflation. Like we were trying to think, well, how much profit did they really get out of it?
A lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
Well, okay, so in 2013, a filmmaker doing the history on the Happy Birthday song had to pay $1,500 in royalties. She's like, I'm not doing this. So she sues him. She takes him to court. And they find out that with current laws, now, I'm not a lawyer. I have not consulted a lawyer for this, so this is just what I read off the internet. But basically, based on current copyright laws, anything before 1923 basically falls under public domain with the laws. And this fell in the year of 1922. So therefore,
By 1 year.
It makes it public domain. And to add on top of that, we know that copyright 70 years after an artist dies, copyright expires and it becomes public domain. Well, the original artist, Hill, Mildred Hill and Patty, Patty died in 1946. I think the other one died. Her sister died before her. So she was the last one. So the copyright is certainly expired and therefore more reason for it to be public domain. So as of right now, it sits as public domain. I think there are still negotiations because obviously somebody wants to make money off of this.
Right.
But Warner Chappelle did have to pay back $14 million.
Oh, they paid it back.
Yeah, the court said they had to pay back $14 million. I feel like they would have had to pay back more, but at that number, at that year, $14 million.
That's crazy.
Insane, right?
That's crazy.
We sing that. How many times have anybody sung that in their life? And the other thing too with that is you're singing Happy Birthday in your house with your family. You're not getting a bill for that. It's more public, right? If we were to be on national TV, televised, yeah, somebody's going to find us and they're going to send us a bill. They're going to say, hey, you know that song you sang on TV? We need some money for that.
Right.
Which is
it's like
crazy.
You go to a baseball game or something, then, seventh inning comes around, they do the happy birthdays on the board.
Yeah.
It's $1,500 a person, man.
Yeah. Well, not anymore. I guess now it's public domain.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's the interesting fact number 1 for today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good start. I like that one.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. So this one's weird. And especially us being musicians, like,
Okay.
it's so hard to fathom that people like this exist, but some people feel nothing towards music.
What do you mean? What do you mean they feel nothing?
They like music is not in their lives. It's not involved in their everyday life.
Like they don't listen to music?
They don't listen to music. They don't listen to music while they're working. It's crazy. It's just no music. Doesn't do anything for them. They don't feel it.
I'm having trouble wrapping my head around that just because
That's what I'm saying.
Like you said, as someone who plays music,
Yeah.
I don't understand how music doesn't do something to you.
So I actually knew a couple people back in like high school, and we like had this discussion, and they're like, yeah, I don't listen to music. I'm like, what?
A couple people?
A couple different people. They're like, yeah, we don't listen to music, don't need it. Like,
Okay.
it's weird.
How many of these couple people are actually aliens in disguise, or are they just trying to be cool?
The reptilian kind.
They're the reptilian. Are they just trying to be cool, or are they just lying? They're like,
I don't know, but then it's like, what do you do in your car? Like,
that's what I'm saying. You're just sitting there,
maybe a podcast or something.
I don't know.
Silence.
I'm trying to think of like a song that everybody knows that you just listen to and you're like rocking out. You're like, regardless of, like, if you don't have emotion, you're a psychopath. Isn't that what a psychopath is? That's the definition of a psychopath,
Yeah, but
right?
like they have emotion.
So they have emotion, but they can't be impacted by music, which is all
Correct.
emotion.
Yeah. Makes sense, yeah.
If someone watching this right now doesn't listen to music, please let us know so we can get a different perspective, because
I would like to hear
this
that.
blows my mind. I'm sure there's some studies behind it, but I would not trust somebody who doesn't listen to music. Right?
It is a weird thing. It takes a certain type of person.
Let's say you're on a date with a girl and she's like, yeah, there's something I need you to know before I see you again. She's like, I don't listen to music and it doesn't affect me. That's a red flag.
I mean, that's the same as her being an airplane clapper. Like the plane lands, she's
that's a whole other conversation.
That's a deal breaker.
When I came back from Cleveland, they did that.
You had some airplane clappers.
We had airplane clappers.
Really?
And it makes me feel really awkward.
Yeah, it's strange.
And there's two different types. You have the airplane clappers that somehow influence the whole plane to kind of clap. And then you have the airplane clappers that are isolated individuals and look like crazy people for just
But,
being
like,
the only person clapping.
Who are they clapping for?
Okay, so here's why they were clapping when I was coming back. Because, just real quick, the plane was coming in through a storm. It's Florida. A lot of storms. They were going to take us to Orlando because they couldn't land from that storm.
Oh, I got
So when we were coming in, dude, it was pretty rough.
Yeah.
It's like, seeing lightning, like thinking we're going to freaking die right here
But it's
on
like
landing.
the pilots can't hear you.
No. Well, they could probably hear the claps.
No, I don't think they can hear
They
the claps.
definitely hear those claps.
They have a bulletproof door.
Not a soundproof door. Not a soundproof door.
Come
Bulletproof. Bulletproof doesn't mean soundproof.
They don't hear those claps.
Point of the story is
headphones in. They're up there reading the paper.
That was a joyous moment for people to come together and cheer and clap for the fact that they survived landing in a thunderstorm.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you don't listen to music, that's bizarre. And for anyone watching this, if somebody doesn't feel anything for music, I mean, I don't judge. I can't judge. That's rude.
No, I mean it's kind of like, you do you, but at the same time, like
it's like, yeah, I couldn't trust somebody.
what, like maybe you just didn't grow up with music, and that.
But then wouldn't you have a moment of like an epiphany, like
I would think so. Yeah.
like you listen to Beethoven, and you're like, whoa, like
That's the first song you're gonna listen
well,
to is
because
Beethoven.
it ties into the next fact that we'll get into. But
that's the one that makes you go, wow.
but I'm just saying, like, well,
Listen
okay,
to that piano.
all right. Here's why I bring up Beethoven, because leading into our next fact, and I'll tie back into this. Beethoven in 2016 had sold more CDs than any other artist that year, and that was the same year that Beyonce released Lemonade.
No, it was Mozart.
No, it was Beethoven.
Are you sure?
Oh, yeah, you're right. It was Mozart. Mozart. Sorry.
Yeah.
Mozart released. No, he didn't release because he's been dead for 200 something years.
He put out a new single.
Okay, sorry. Back it up. Thanks. Good catch. So yeah, in 2016, Mozart had they released a commemorative CD, and for his 225th anniversary of his death, it sold more copies than any other artist at that time. Same year that Beyonce released Lemonade, Rihanna released Anti. Chance the Rapper dropped his big album that blew up. I don't know what Drake did that year, but basically Mozart
and
was...
Adele. Adele's hard.
Oh, and Adele, yeah, he even better than Adele.
Beat out Adele.
Yes. Now here's how this is broken down. Okay, because you hear that and you're like, okay, how is that even possible? First of all, who is buying CDs in 2016? Right, that should be, I think, anyone's first question. I definitely would be buying CDs. I still like the physical CDs, but they are no longer a thing.
Well, people are still buying vinyl now.
Yeah, you know what's funny? You say that. I saw something quick too.
The sales just
they've been
climbing
skyrocketing
every single year. They've been going up,
dude. Millions
That's crazy.
of millions of dollars.
Yeah,
I mean, we have vinyls here on the wall and over there. It's a nostalgia thing, I think, at this point. Nobody's...
Yeah, like we don't have a record player.
Yeah, we don't have a record player.
We're not playing them.
But we got the vinyls. Okay, so here's the breakdown. He had 1.25 million CDs sold. Now, what that actually equates to... And that was in 5 weeks, these sales. What that equates to was actually that these were box sets. Okay, and in the box sets were 200 CDs. Each CD counts as a sale. So they only had 6,000 people buy the CDs in 5 weeks. And for 6,000 people buying 200 CDs, you do the math.
That's sneaky.
Yeah. So with those counting as
wait, so if
sales,
we released a box set and we just threw like 1,000 CDs in each one
and got 6,000 people to buy them or something, yeah, we would perform very well because each CD would sell. Yeah. Not that we're telling you what we're up to.
How does Mozart have 200 CDs?
Well,
200 CDs worth of music?
So yeah, it was a combination of it was a commemorative box set. So in the box set, it included all of his work, of course, but it also included like reading material and like a lot of, I think, extra stuff. Maybe like people who were historians talking about it on the CDs, right? So just a lot of extra information. But yeah, there is a lot of music. Basically, it's 10 days worth of music. It's 240 hours on those CDs, which is a lot.
Yeah. No.
So, I mean, did he really do better than all those artists? I mean, technically, yes, but maybe not. I mean, he wasn't on the charts. You know what I'm saying?
Who put that together? Who released that?
I have no idea. I don't know who does that. Somebody who owns the copyright to
Yeah.
That I don't even know how the copyright works for him. But what I am curious about is, because this was interesting when I saw this, are Beethoven, Bach, Mozart, all these guys, it's 225 years after their deaths, roughly 220 plus years after their deaths, and we're still talking about them. They're still in our society today. Everybody knows them. You learn them in school, music education.
Are you gonna go on like a rant about real instruments here?
Well, no, I'm not. But I mean, I could. In 200 years from now, do you think people are going to be talking about Beyonce, Drake, Rihanna, Adele, Kanye, the way that we still talk about these guys? Because
I think they're going to still be talking about Mozart.
Yeah,
I think that's for sure.
I agree. I feel like those guys have cemented themselves into history, and I don't know why. You would think that with our digital age and everything being so permanent in a way, and these artists like Drake and Beyonce, they would leave a mark in history.
And they will. They have already.
But 200 years from now, will they?
I don't know.
But yeah, it's
That's
hard
a
to
good
say
question.
because you're talking about the future, and who knows where music's going to be in 200 years. But I definitely don't think they will. So shout out to Mozart, Bach, and Beethoven, and all the kings back then.
Yeah.
Paving the way.
Classic.
Yeah.
Classic. Speaking of,
Since
we're on classical music, do
classical music.
you want to dive into the plant one? I think that flows nicely.
Yes. This blows my mind. I feel like there's a lot of girls out there who don't keep their plants alive. And this is a trick for them to keep their plants alive. And that may be grossly inaccurate to say that, but I've known a few girls, including my sister, where their plants die.
I've killed plants.
I've killed plants too.
Yeah.
I've killed succulents. Succulents are a whole
same.
different breed. I've
The
tried.
unkillable plant.
Yeah. The unkillable plant is totally killable.
Yeah.
Okay, so sound waves have been studied and found to stimulate plant cell growth. Okay, so basically what they found is that if you want to keep your plants alive, play them some music. Who would have thought?
And there was a separate study that said they prefer classical music.
Yeah.
They prefer
Classical or jazz over what was the other one?
I don't know, but they have a preference.
Probably not punk. It was probably like metal or punk, like some aggressive.
Yeah. So I hadn't heard the music one, but I had heard like people talking to plants and that helps them grow and like get better and that kind of thing. And like you think it's kind of crazy because it sounds whack, but apparently it's true. There's a lot of studies on it.
Yeah, so one of the studies goes back to 1962. Dr. T.C. Singh. Now, listen to how whack this sounds. Mm-hmm. Dr. T.C. Singh. Okay, T-C-S-I-N-G-H. He is the head of botany at Animalia University. Okay.
It's a mouthful.
I can't say that without laughing because it sounds like it's a joke, but at the same time, it sounds very legit. Like legitimate. Like Animalia University. That sounds legitimate. Where are you studying? I'm studying at Animalia University.
I've never
to
heard
be
of
like
that.
a zoologist. Yeah, I've never heard it either. But if you're talking about anything related to plants or animals, you're probably going to Animalia University. Now he's the head of botany there, so he did a study and found that with the control group and the experimental group, there was a 20% increase in growth rate for the plants that were listening to classical music, and a 72% increase in biomass for those same plants that were listening to classical and jazz compared to, I think, their control, which is insane.
That's kind of crazy.
There were plenty of other studies to follow throughout the years. And then today there's obviously criticism to say, well, there still needs to be more research
Who
done.
thinks to do a study like that? They're like, you know what? I'm going to see if my plants listen to music. Like what?
I don't know, man. Yeah.
How
like,
does that come up?
Like, how do you just have the thought to say, maybe, I mean, I don't know. It was the 60s. Maybe he was, psychedelic and he just got
Rocking
creative.
out to his house of plants.
Rocking out to his house of plants, man. I mean, good on him because this is where all this cool stuff comes from, right?
Sure.
We think about like all the cool things that we've been blessed with in our society that have come from space, technology. I can't name them off the top of my head, but we could find, you can research that, right? These things get invented, they get researched for other purposes, and then they end up doing something completely different. Now, what purpose does this serve? I don't know. Maybe your plant deserves to listen to music. Or if you're listening to music, let your plant listen to music.
I mean, that kind of goes back to the people who don't listen to music. They just feel nothing with it, you know?
What were you going to say with that?
Not just like plants are polar opposite.
Oh, just polar opposites?
Yeah.
I was thinking that another red flag with somebody you're talking to is if you go to their
if they're
house.
a plant talker.
Yeah. Well, if they're a plant talker, I guess. Yeah, that's kind of weird. But I was thinking like if you just go over to their house and they have like headphones on their fern, you know what I mean? Or like just speakers like
Speakers facing the plants.
the fucking plants. I'd be like, what?
Just Mozart playing continuously.
Okay, yeah. Props to anybody playing Mozart, but if you just see it playing for the plants, if you didn't know about this and you see that, you're like, what is going on?
Yeah, if you didn't know that.
I'm getting out of that house. I'm getting out of that house because if I don't get out myself, I'm not getting out of the house. At least that's what I would think.
That's interesting.
I shouldn't say that, but it is very interesting, man. Plants
Moving
are
on.
Plants are they're not people too, but plants are living things. So it makes sense that sound waves can stimulate their plant cells.
Power of music, man.
The power of music, which makes more sense. If a plant can be affected by music, how are you going to tell me that a human doesn't listen to music?
Psychopath.
I did say it earlier, but I'm not saying it again. Those are your words.
Cool.
Just because there may be somebody who's listening who's like, I don't listen to music, but I'm not a psychopath. Do psychopaths know that they're psychopaths?
That's a good question.
That is a really good question. They should be aware of the fact that
I wouldn't think so.
they could be. They might be in denial about it. Psychopaths could also be, what's that one word?
Okay, carrying on.
Okay, all right. Hit us with something new.
So this one's kind of neat.
What's
the
up?
only band to play all 7 continents is Metallica. Metallica.
You say that with a lot of enthusiasm, do you?
Well, I think it's kind of cool. Like, it's a metal band.
It is cool.
You know, you would think it'd be some like jazz band or something,
right?
Like that's what I picture.
I actually feel like you would see no one else but a metal band doing something like that.
Really?
That's so metal. Yeah, we
So
played all
metal
7
to
continents,
play
man.
in Antarctica.
Antarctica, the North.
Yeah, so
They
that
played for-
show in Antarctica is actually really cool.
What was it?
So it was like there's a dome, like a snow globe looking thing, but it was clear, and a small little dome, maybe like 20, 30 people inside this dome, and they were just rocking out. Full amps and everything. Like, it was a full show.
They like brought these people to Antarctica just for the show. They were
No,
like, come
so
with us?
they were scientists, I believe.
Oh.
Just there researching.
Oh,
and Metallica's
yeah.
like, hey, do you mind if we stop by to play a show?
That's kind of cool though. So
Yeah.
what's the globe is just to keep them warm or something?
I would assume so.
Oh.
Yeah, but like, imagine being a scientist, a researcher up there, and like, hey, we got Metallica playing next Friday.
That's
Like,
crazy. They like haven't seen a person like
It's
anyone
the only event on their calendar.
but yeah. I hope those people get a little more like event type stuff.
It's the thrill of the research, man.
I don't think it's that thrilling. What are you researching in Antarctica?
That's a good
I'll
question.
tell you what. But at least if you're not enjoying what you're doing, at least you get to enjoy a Metallica concert. Do you know when
That's
that
true.
was? When was that?
I don't know, actually. Yeah. But no one has done it since, apparently.
All 7
They're the
continents.
only
though.
one. All 7.
I mean, it makes sense. You could say America, North America. No, I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, that's kind of a big deal, though. Like, that's a lot of work.
Yeah.
All 7.
This is going to sound so stupid, but no, I'm not going to say it. I was going to say, I don't know why when I said North America, that's the continent. We're on North American continent, right? That's not right. There's another name for it, right? That's why you say Europe, Asia, but you're not saying Italy, China. This is the North American continent, right?
You're confusing me now. Yeah, yes.
Yeah, and then there's South America, Antarctica, North Pole. That can't be right. North Pole? That's not right.
Oh, God.
Oh, no.
Moving on.
Look, we're just here to play music and talk about music. We're not in school anymore. Oh, geez. All right. I think that's it for the facts that we have today. That could be a part 1 of the episode, and we can certainly make a part 2 talking about more interesting and mind-blowing facts in the industry. But until part 2 or next week's episode, stay safe, have fun. We are Forest Lake, And thank you, as always, for listening.
Yeah. See you next week.
Peace.